everyone present here. In the modern business landscape, supply chain sustainability is pivotal for both corporate success and global well-being. Recognizing the interconnectedness between the economic, social, and the environmental factors, organizations today are pivoting towards sustainable practices to mitigate the risks and to contribute to a healthier planet. As per a McKinsey report, 7 of 9 ESG initiatives involve significant supply chain impacts, covering aspects like reducing packaging, circular economy models, emission reduction, ethical sourcing, employee well-being, and adapting to the consumer needs. Well, this emphasizes the supply chain's crucial role in fostering a comprehensive sustainability and responsible practices. With that, I would like to open this panel, and I would request my dear panelists to elaborate what sustainability means to them, how important it is, and what are the certain ESG initiatives that you are undertaking in your organizations today when we talk about supply chain sustainability. Mr. Vineet, we'll start with you.
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. So we have started with the Times Up logo, which is just in front of us. So before starting, Times Up, okay. So this was on a lighter note. So as an organization, what we understood for the sustainability, so sustainability is something which we want to give the similar kind of resources whatsoever we are using at this time to the next generation. And how we can achieve or get this is not something which individually can be achieved. But again, organizations are more organized. They are the one who is creating the imbalance. So they are the first who can take the action to correct it. And this is not only and only which organization is going to do their own. This is what we, individual, is going to partner with our own organization to get it succeed in a way whatsoever we want to do. What we are doing, so as an organization, we have a long-term plan, 5 to 10 years, with a milestone, what and when we are going to achieve, and how we can collaborate with individual employee within the organization so that it is not only and only on the paper or something which is this thing written on a wall and something. This is something which we are inculcating in the behavior of every employee to make it successful in the real scenario. As an organization, we have already converted 15% of our energy consumption through renewable sources, and we have taken a target. We are going to not only and only this thing conversion of renewable, we are going to be efficient. And why I'm just using word efficient, every initiative, whatsoever we are taking to make ourselves sustainable, it is not related to cost. This is something is related to efficiency, which gives a feeling of ownership and the collaboration among the employee. Like we have operations in Mumbai, we have corporate office in Pune, and this is a normal course of action where people travel Bombay to Pune, Pune to this thing. So as an initiative, what we decided, let's have a ferry in between because this is a normal course of time, so that we can reduce something. Over and above, as an organization, we recover our 100% waste, whatsoever we are creating in an annual basis. We are just resting for a program where we are going to commit whatsoever Now time has started. So whatsoever the thing, plastic we are generating, so how we can make this 100% recycle? So I think this is up from.
Thank you so much, sir. Sudhir, sir, what about you?
Thank you, Vineet. Thank you, Awantika. And good afternoon to all. Yes, certainly, because sustainability all of us are hearing, and it's kind of the risks posed by the climate change, I think, are forcing us to adopt sustainability as a practice. We as an organization at ITC, we have been practicing sustainability last more than 2 decades. And it is something we don't take it as an additional burden on us. It is part of the whole process by itself. It's imbibed in the DNA of the corporation. So I'll touch upon sustainability, what does it mean and what all we are doing. So all the 3 key tenets of sustainability, which is environmental, which is social and governance, as we call it ESG. So our whole focus is that, side by side as we are pursuing our ESG initiatives, sustainability becomes a part of it, right? So just to touch upon social thing first, which less talked about. So on social, as far as it includes the employees, what you are doing good for them. It includes the practices for the society, for the community, as well as your business partners. So as for the employees, our policies are in a way which are much more sustainable. We focus a lot on gender neutrality, gender diversity. We focus a lot on the physically challenged employees, what you can employ, to add some numbers out there to give an equal platform. Apart from that, coming to business partners, there becomes a kind of duty of yours as a bigger organization that you go hand in hand, you induct them into the various policies and the key asks from them. You train them, induct them so that they also follow those code of conducts which were created on sustainability. And then comes the society. As society at large, we are involved with so many millions of farmers at the grassroots level because of our businesses. So in many states, we work very closely through AI, digitization, those kind of services which we have provided to them. And then we provide a very fair play kind of platform to them wherein they produce, they can sell without any force or inhibitions. The things which they have not seen before, the climate forecasting, the kind of fertilizers or other inputs which can be given to them. So we have just facilitated that in more than 5 million farmers communities. So this becomes on the social part of it. As far as the environmental is the bigger thing, 80% of all this revolves around, which you must have heard of, about how to reduce the carbon footprint, greenhouse gas emissions, etc. So for that, a lot of initiatives the corporation have taken. In brief, I will only say that we are moving towards carbon neutrality, water neutrality, and solid waste neutrality. So ITC as a corporation for many years now consistently has been carbon positive and water positive and solid waste positive. I personally represent an organization part of ITC, which is ITC Hotels. So many of our hotels, the kind of actions we have taken on sustainability have become water neutral. So we are LEED certified, so LEED water neutral. Same way we have become LEED carbon neutral in many of the properties. Now the actions, etc., what we have taken, very, very specific ones. Yes, those start with, on the raw material sides, as you say, from cradle to your gate, that is the raw material you are sourcing. And one of the study, if you see from McKinsey, says that 80% of your lifetime emission of a product or a business are decided at the time of designing. So any product what you make, at that time, now is the time has come wherein you need to think twice that what can I do to make this product and its life cycle, which involves manufacturing, raw material type, manufacturing, its usage by all of us, and its disposal. What can we do in each stage gate wherein I can reduce the carbon footprint? Can I make it reduce consumption of the raw materials? Could it be a reuse of the items? And then finally, can it be a recyclability of the items? So we are working on specifically on different businesses on that. And it's a part of life, it's a long haul journey, and we are continuing on that. Thank you so much, thanks.
Thank you so much, Sudhir sir. Sanjeev sir, we'll like to hear about your perspective on supply chain sustainability.
Okay, I just try to go back slightly behind on that. Why we need to focus on all this thing today? Like if you think about long back, what is the purpose? Like we start industrialization to enrich your life, change the ways of working, or developing a new product. But in this journey, we all try to giving back to the society or to the environment, which is start affecting us. So if you see the sustainability, if you try to think about sustain, how can you sustain and what is your ability to sustain? Also, like we talk about a risk metrics in a business, all these things. So what it all indicate about? So the whole philosophy behind that we need to understand, we should not harm to the environment, we should not harm to the people with whom we working, and there should not be any discharge either from the product or the overall company which impact the whole ecosystem. We all talk about the ozone and all environment. Delhi also witnesses the environmental impact. I think all of you understand what I'm talking about. So the fundamental of that, where we need to focus either is in a sourcing or in a business. If you think like Philip Kotler talk about 4P in marketing, we try to talk about 3P for the sustainability or responsible sourcing. First P is a people who all involve, is not at your company level, but to the entire value chain of the business where you involve directly or indirectly. I will go more in detail about that. Second P, go for the planet. You should not harm the planet in any way. And the third P goes to the product. So your product should not create any impact on anything which impact negatively, like we talk about the product, ROHS, lead, which goes to the environment, which contaminate the water, air. So how we can minimize all of these things? So all these three things, when we try to do sourcing or we talk about responsible sourcing, we talk about sustainability, these are the core three pillars for any organization, any business we need to think about. Let me go on a first P first to explain to you what we try to talk about.
So I'm so sorry, but maybe we can delve into that when we go into the specific question.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Deepak sir, we'd like to go ahead with you next.
Hello, good afternoon, namaste, namaskar. So I'll tell you, so in short, who is responsible for ESG, I'm still not able to understand, because see, when we speak to people, they say it is a company's responsibility. We all will say, right? Company, when we ask, they say government is responsible. When we speak to government, they will say we are undeveloped country, in the developing countries, is a developed country's responsibilities. And we go there, they say, it's a problem of all of you. So first thing is, we all are responsible. We have to understand that. And if you'll see what we do in Bajaj, so on ESG part, we all know E means environment, S means social, how you manage community and people and all. G means tracking, how to track, control, measure, and ensure that whatever your emission is there, you control that. So first, the most important thing in any organization to start, this is the baselining. If you will not do the baselining, if you will not record what all things, how much emission is happening throughout your value stream mapping, value chain of the organization, you will not able to improve. So, and that is typical, that's the toughest job in any organization. You have to bring some consultant or some automated system so that you can track. So first thing is that. Second thing you will see, so some of the R's we have implemented. In the new product developments, what we have done, we have started refusing the unsustainable product. Second thing is, whatever products we have started working on reducing or removing the unsustainable product. After that, R comes where we reuse whatever is the scrap or rework or left out, we try to reuse that, or we sell it to somebody who can recycle it. So these are the R's we have implemented. Second thing, some of the S we have implemented. So if you'll see the overall value stream mapping of the organization, start from the design. So we do sustainability in the design, right? If you see some of the products what we have designed recently, the mixer and all, we give lifetime warranty. So earlier we were giving some of the products we were giving 1 to 2 years warranty. We have started giving 7 to 10 and life year warranty, so that You are not spending money, we are not extracting natural resources just to replace as a spares to reuse the product or remake the product. So we are working the design. So first is design, sustainability in design. Second is sustainability in sourcing. When you source, when you work with supplier, when you select the suppliers, we have put sustainability clauses while selection of the suppliers. And we work with them to mutually we take collaborative projects so that ROHS and all those things we are implementing with suppliers, and we are ensuring that if you'll work with all of these basic criteria, you will be part of us. Third is manufacturing, sustainability in manufacturing. So all of our manufacturing, the whatever we manufacture in-house, we are replacing LPG through natural gas. We have started reducing that consumption with a better sources and machineries and all. After that, ROHS we have implemented. We have implemented solar plants so that we can reduce the usage of electricity, right? You know scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. In that scope 2 comes under the electricity what you use and buy from outside. And scope 1 is the fuel what you use within the organization and all. And then we ensure that whatever waste we generate, it is 100% recyclable. Or water you discharge, it's again recyclable. So this is a manufacturing. Then comes sustainability for logistics or after you sell product to somebody else. So for that we are producing BEE, we are manufacturing BEE, energy efficient products, lifetime products, so that when you use it, you are spending less electricity and you are supporting the environment. Example, you buy a diesel vehicle, 20% emission goes to produce the vehicle, but 80% comes from the usage of the vehicle. And last is sustainability in actions. So we want to be 100% fair to our employees, laborers. We want to follow the compliances of the law of the land. And we are working towards the DNI, diversity and inclusion in all those directions. So these are the actions we have taken in Bajaj to become a sustainable company. We have started publishing in our annual report also. We have hired consultant who is tracking. There's a, BRSR, business sustainability and reporting, responsible reporting and all. There's a report we have to publish. Everybody has to publish. So these are steps we have taken in Bajaj so that we can not only speak sustainability, but we can be example for the sustainable as a sustainable company for the others and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Chandni, we'll quickly go to
Sure,
you
I'll-
and then Mr. Ajay.
Thank you, Deepak ji. It was very enlightening to hear about Bajaj and the 360-degree approach that they are taking. So I've been running an electronic manufacturing company since the last 20 years, and SharpBuy is a new startup in which we are building software to streamline electronic component supply chain. So with respect to sustainability, the electronics segment per se lends itself to this aspect greatly. One, because India is one of the largest producers of e-waste, and given the impetus on electronic manufacturing, we are probably, this e-waste is going to grow 35% year on year for the next 20 years. Today, even our mattresses have electronic components in there, telling us you have to sleep now. So I'm just saying that given that this industry itself lends itself to sustainability, not only sustainable sourcing, but also responsible disposal of the e-waste. So with respect to that, we are building a sourcing engine to source sustainable components from India and also abroad, where classification can be made and some scores can be generated for companies who want to source only sustainable components. And also the other leg is the disposal of the finished goods and also the raw materials which are left off. For example, in this industry there is a lot of excess components which keep lying in warehouses. So for these excess components, they end up being creating more and more e-waste. So we are building a re-commerce engine so that these can be introduced back into the market for improving the company's sustainability score, because these same components can be reused and they don't need to end up in e-waste or a landfill. As far as the this segment is concerned, e-waste in particular, you can say the S part of it is that currently India has a history of, this kabadi wala or the people who are right now processing this e-waste. It is being done in very deplorable conditions. So 90% of our e-waste is processed currently by the informal sector in the slums of, say, Seelampur, or the biggest hub is Moradabad. So given and bringing, this informal sector into some type of a formal arrangement where proper working conditions are given to them, and also, extraction of materials and hazardous substances is done in a way where their health hazards are not there. So I think this is a focus of the government, and we appreciate the efforts which the government is putting in to formalize this segment. I will give the...
Thank you, Ms. Chandni.
Okay, so I think a lot of things has been said already. So as far as the vertical of organization from where I come from, we are a heavy hazardous back-end petrochemical catalyst company, which is generating not only various emissions, various hazardous waste, which we are, luckily in India, we are processing it as a refining processes, and the basic concept of ours is based on the people, process and technology. People part, we have highly skilled people who are processing this entire thing, because we have already passed through the scope 1, scope 2. We are in the scope 3 level where we are totally committed, because we are controlled not only by the statutory bodies from Government of India or internationally, because when we move goods from across the globe, all the country, wherever the touch base of those goods are there, it is being pointed, and we have to clear those things. So you can imagine if you are moving the goods from 7, 8 countries, so we have to be totally compliant on that. So on that basis, and on the plant operations, we have, as I think Deepak already has mentioned about a lot of things, we are also doing same processes, not to repeat that one. First thing is the reporting part of it, which we have already done with audit part of it, which EcoBuddy is the one audit which I think many of us is going through it. We have passed at least the gold level, which is, I think, a base benchmark for us also, looking into that industry. And monitoring with the GRI and various reports, what Deepak has mentioned, we are also monitoring a lot of reports with the consultants and within the scope of within the company.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone, for sharing the insights into what your organizations are doing when we talk about sustainability. Well, delving into the specific aspects of supply chain, Mr. Sanjeev, my first question is to you. How do you promote responsible sourcing, and what strategies can be implemented to address the potential ethical and environmental challenges in the procurement process?
I think a lot of point already touched base. I just try to go the first part of that, the sourcing, and how is important, and how we can try to go more ESG or sustainable into that. While we try to do a sourcing, most of the company, we try to look at lowest cost. Or when we do my total landed cost comparison, a lot of time we not consider what are the parameters which all we need to talk about, like if you go to your supply chain tier 1, tier 2, or the complete ecosystem, is it ways of working? Do we do the compliance audit for your supplier, not your supplier, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? So the complete value chain, how we working on that, like minimum wages, safety, association of the manpower, although this is a tricky topic, but Europe and all they talk about in their sourcing aspect, but a lot of Asia, this is more tricky topic. Also the minimum wages, compliance is also into that. So all of these things we a lot of time ignore. We just try to go on core parameter, purely looking business to business into that. That's an important angle. Second thing, the environmental impact on that. If you sourcing from a distance, regularly you bringing the product, how much carbon discharge you creating into that. All of these is not part of our checklist. I think we need to look, need to develop a template, need to change the complete scoring mechanism, including all of these aspects. Also, as Deepak touched base about the product, So how the product, like we all talk about circular supply chain, all these aspects need to come into that. So the sourcing is not just going for the new source for the product, but focusing on a complete value chain of the product, not at its starting, but serving to the customer, maybe depending on product to product, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year commitment you giving to your market. Like CapEx goods, a lot of company give 15-year commitment to the customer, like phase out or the life cycle is 15-year into that. So all of these aspects need to be focused, but again, it's not easy because we all try to go for the lowest cost. Everyone is running, especially maybe the big multinational can think about, but in India, the MSME and a lot of different player into that. And all of these have an impact on the cost also. It's not a direct, but indirect. Like if you try to ensure a minimum wages, you go, then it may impact to the product. You go for the discharge, like as we talked about, should be a zero discharge factory. Then you need a treatment plant, you need a pollution control, you need this and that compliances. All of these are the costs you need to maintain into that. End of the day, everything will come and loaded on the product and how you selling into that. And that's how the developed country, maybe 10, 20, 30, 50 years before, start sourcing a lot of these things from the Asia. Now again, the trend is changing from global to more local sourcing. And these all environmental issues is also on the surface, like who owns. I'm not trying to again repeat the same point, but there's also a question into that. So we need to create a comprehensive framework for that, not just the basic 2 or 3 questions we talk about while we making a decision for the sourcing.
Thank you so much. Sudhir sir, we'll come to you with the next question that's focused on sustainable products. So how do you ensure the production of eco-friendly, environmental-friendly products and like how do you maintain your operational efficiency while ensuring that the consumer needs are met?
Yeah, sure. Lot has been said already, and always practical is better than theory, right? So let me give you some examples. The whole focus for us is, again, sustainability is all about reduce, reuse, and recycle, the triple R, right? So what can be done or what we have done as a company? Let me take you an example of, one of the, it is all about reducing your waste, right? How do you treat your waste? So one aspect is to reduce the waste. So in the hotel industry, a lot of food is a menace. Food waste is a big wastage, right? So how can you reduce it? So what we have done is kind of, there is some equipment called waste calculator, okay? It's like AI. Whatever waste is coming here, throwing in each restaurant, you can measure, weigh it, and then some components of it, it can tell you that what items particularly, whether it's a paneer, whether it's the aloo, whether it's whatever, is the major item of waste. So the information from that backflows to the chefs in the kitchens, and then the dosage or the quantity of that particular item is reduced. So it saves you cost one way. Secondly, your waste is reduced. So once that exercise is done, now you take it forward. What do I do for the waste disposal, right? So in each of our properties, what we have done is that we have the waste treatment plants. So all the waste, which is generally the bio waste, which is purely treated, right? And then output will be either a biogas or there will be some kind of manure. So the manure, whatever comes, we are utilizing to horticulture purposes as a fertilizer, as this thing. And whatever is the biogas, it gets back utilized for your kitchens, some of your kitchens. So absolutely, in a property, you become solid waste neutral if you are using everything or nearby to neutral, right? So this is one example. Let me take another one. The bigger menace becomes of the electricity. I think we are the corporation where we can, as a company, we can take pride in saying that we are carbon neutral. Or many of our hotel properties are lead carbon neutral. Why? The electricity what we are using is generally what you do. You use the municipal or whatever, the state electricity board electricity, right? The making of which is highly, it spreads a lot of pollution. So what we use is we are into the renewable source of energy. So either it can come from solar power or wind energy, which is wind farms. So we own many of the wind farms, and that energy is harnessed and is transported through the legal route. Now a lot of facilities are there, how these can be transported and pan-India. And with that we are using, so it not only saves you cost, there are substantial difference in per unit cost, but also your credit on the carbon points which we say, that increases a lot, right? And so whatever balance is there, then it can be substantiated with other initiative. It could be like, for example, in the engineering side, heat pumps. You require a lot of hot water, right? So traditionally you use boilers and coal-fired and diesel-fired and all that. A lot of pollution goes in the environment and you are emitting a lot of gases. Heat pump is a technology wherein you can use through the electricity and the efficiency of that water, the actual usage of electricity is reduced by a substantial amount, a significant amount. Moreover, there is a byproduct of it which can be used in the chillers. So it's two things happening. With one product, you are getting dual advantage, right? Same way there are something called in AHUs, your air conditioning and all, you use kind of AC motors to run it. So new tech which is coming is BLDC, the DC motors. Again, your efficiency is increasing by nearly 15 to 20%, right? So these are some of the initiatives which we have taken right on the ground on the engineering side. Other thing, a big man is these bottles, plastic bottles. How many of these are used? Lakhs of lakhs annually, these are used, tons of waste. Of course, the kind of micron it is, now these are recyclable, but the yield is low. So what we have done is that, we get out of the plastics and we are using the glass bottles. So we developed a product which could be retrofitted within the compound, within the building itself. So we have put also the water treatment and filtration and softening plants. So again, it's not only the plastic waste which you reduce, right? That waste. You are not giving anything to the environment and hence the carbon emission. Secondly, the logistics scope 3 kind of emissions, you avoided that as well. Because when a bottle comes to you, the plant might be somewhere in one state and transported to other states, so a lot of emission happens. So these are some of the other examples, and likewise many, kind of strategic interventions we have taken on the product side, whether it's the dental kits which we are using, going back to bamboo, which is 40% much more reduction in the carbon dioxide, right? So bamboo is a kind of shoot which compared to wood also, it is much more environmental friendly. It absorbs less of water. Now coming to third vector of it, which is water. Water again we say we are kind of neutral because whatever water we are consuming from the electricity, from the water boards, more than that, we are recycling on a daily basis and giving to the community. Now community could be nearby gardens in your cities or in your towns, etc. Or it could be the water to the some of the societies which are nearby for what for it is used. Recycled water or good quality, though not drinkable, but still for your cleaning purposes, for your horticultural need, watering in the gardens, right? For your other, your WC uses, right? So all that in our hotels as well as nearby communities we are supporting a lot. And so 80% we'll say of our water needs are kind of substantiated by these interventions on the recycling of water. Now the remaining 20% what we have done is we have formed some kind of rain harvesting. So there are kind of wells which are getting charged. So on the rooftop there is a rain harvesting happening and that water is flowing back to the community. There are some wells nearby which are getting charged and that water is getting used. So wherever we are supplying this water, or you as a company or as an individual, you supply that recycled water, whether for gardening or for other purposes, that much of water you are saving, that is fresh water you are saving. So that's the credit to you, right? So likewise, on the water side, electricity side, as well as the solid waste side, lot of developments which initiatives we have taken. And on the product side, as I said, we need to evaluate. There are hundreds of different kind of formulations which can be applied, whether it's BLDC and this one or two things I mentioned, these bottles and then kits, etc. So a lot more is going, is as I said, it's a long haul journey. Anything and everything you touch upon and you kind of, if there is a kind of, dictate into your system, it becomes a part of your blood, your DNA of the organization, then you will start thinking about at the design stage, whether it's the design of the product or the process.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Sudhir, sir. I'm so sorry, but I have to cut you short there. Deepak sir and Chandni ma'am, I would like to know about the circularity aspect of the supply chain. How do you integrate circularity model in your supply chains?
So circularity or circular economy is same. When you use the reuse the product maximum time, so it's a circular economy. You're not extracting the new product. So in my previous organization where I was with Vedanta, there also, here also. So what we have done, we have here 3 manufacturing plants. 2 out of them are zero waste to landfill certified, and we are the first in our product category in the world to be certified under zero waste to landfill. One in Chakan and one in Aurangabad. So that is the, we have done a lot of things. I will not take too much of time because 4 minutes only. So, and then we, after 12 months or 1.5 years, we took to reach to that level where somebody, global organization is certifying that you are 99, more than 99%. So that's thing, Chandni would like to say something more, so not take too much of time.
I will just dwell upon the circularity concept because, as Indians, we are very used to it because thankfully in our country already we are repairing our goods or we are reusing the goods or our hand-me-downs are going to the next sibling or whatever, child. So I'm just saying that circularity as a concept is like a closed loop. So you start with a new product, but you see the end of life of that product. Till the end of life, you track that product. So for promoting circularity, I believe the first important thing that one needs to do is building into the design, like already some panelists have mentioned, design for circularity. And the second is building some modularity into the products so that more and more the repairs, etc., are easily possible instead of having to put the product apart or having some very skilled labor to do it. If the companies build some modularity, so if this part is not working, easily the spares are available. And the third important part of circularity is that we close the chain in terms of having it being disposed in a responsible manner. So I will close that with that.
So now, since we're coming to the close of the panel, Vineet, sir, I'll just quickly ask you one thing. If there's one technology that you would like to recommend to the audience over here and suggest that they could adopt that to make their supply chains more sustainable, what would that be?
So now this uses of digital tools is not something which we can say good to have. Now it is new normal and everyone have to have this digital tools in place. But the worst part, especially into the sustainability tracking and tracing, is still more than 52%. The recent survey shows 52% companies are using a spreadsheet to get the report. But we all are talking we should do this, that thing. If we can measure, then we can control. If we can't measure, we can't control. So just to start the control, we have to create a baseline. And it can't be happen on spreadsheets or we can say in bits and pieces. So we have to have some solution. And nowadays, this entire procurement, most of the companies has this thing digitalized and they have this inbuilt capabilities where they just capture your customer suppliers data to get it updated you on real-time basis. Real-time means not on daily basis, but again on a quarterly or half-yearly basis, how much sustained you are by means of, and what are the parameters which you needs to act upon. Because this is not hand-holding, this is not only and only ki I am going to lead, ki yes, you are not fulfilling whatsoever the requirement is. This is something we have to handhold our suppliers to make them sustainable. Okay, so nowadays there are n number of solutions available. We have tools especially for sustainable tracking individual, and there are tools which are integrated with your supply chain digital process.
Thank you so much, sir. Ajay sir, we'll conclude the panel with you, and we'll touch base upon the most important topic when we talk about sustainability, and that's governance. So, how can organizations leverage sustainability reporting to effectively drive the change management initiatives and promote a more sustainable and responsible approach across the supply chain?
See, despite the long-term vision every organization has, there is a lack of visibility on the front of ROI-based initiative on sustainability. Everybody is talking about the long-term 2050, 2030, 2070 goals, but nowhere it has been talked about the ROI-based sustainable initiatives. That is where the things are required, which makes a change management, whether partnering with the government bodies, partnering with the industry associations, and taking example like we sell our product to 50 odd countries on all the 5 continents. And we are leveraging about all the big giants customers and small customers and our partners to leverage upon this initiative where it is giving a leverage to complete the scopes, like what I mentioned earlier, that scope 1 and scope 2 already we have completed, and we are going into scope 3 in advanced stage, where even though we are organization who are very hazardous in nature, but the compatibility of the sustainable growth, what we are seeing it is in a very compatible way. So that is where the change management is happening. That is in gist I can tell you about it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yes.
Sorry, I'm just taking 30 seconds. So, I was in Singapore for sustainability as a panelist, and there I corrected something, and they corrected, thanks to them. And then I was with AG Chamber of Commerce, and the Businessworld was there, the chief guest, and there also said the same thing. I would like to say the same thing here also. So, whenever we will do programs on sustainability, at least, we should not use plastic bottles and papers and pen and pencil. We all can have glass bottles. We already come with the pen or pencil, whatever we have. You don't have to provide that pencil, paper and all. Agenda you are already sending on the way. We all come with our diaries. You don't have to give any papers and all. So just to give you an overview, for one bottle, plastic bottle, 3 liters of water and 1/4 liter of crude oil is required to produce one bottle. Just imagine, and how many bottles we use today. Around 600 billion plastic bottles industry produces, and 85% goes to landfill. Now coming back to paper, one sheet of paper required from 2 to 13 liters of water, and 93% of paper comes from the trees. Imagine how many paper we use and how many trees we are cutting sitting here. So by recycling of 1 metric ton of paper, we can save 1,400 liters of oil, 26,500 liters of water, and 17 trees. Now coming back to pen and pencil, all plastic pen goes for the landfill, just imagine. And these pencils, we are cutting close to 1 lakh trees in a year to just make the pencils. So we can't eliminate that, but at least minimize, so that when we speak about sustainability, we can lead by example. That's the request. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for sharing your insights and telling us more about sustainable supply chain. For our audience, if you have any questions, we'll take that later offline, please. You can discuss with the panelists outside. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to all the dear panelists for your time.